Okay, now this has been stopped. I'm going to start this instance again. I would say start instance. So let's wait for it to start and then we'll stop it again. So we'll have to do this activity multiple times so that we can get the alarm, guys. So getting the alarm is very important for us right now. Okay, now it is running. I'll just go ahead and stop it again. Let's refresh this. Okay, it has been stopped. Now, before we go ahead and do it again, let's do one thing. Let's go to the CloudWatch console and see whether it has like done anything for the just click like whatever the alarm that we have created right now. So yeah, I'll refresh it. So once I refresh this, it says the state clearly says it's an alarm. I mean, it is in alarm. So that is what it says. And also, if I open the email, okay, if I open the email and if I show you the contents of the email, guys, so the contents of the email looks like this. Here it says you're receiving this email because the Amazon CloudWatch alarm so has entered the alarm state because threshold crossed one out of like it is saying that okay, threshold has been crossed and this is my alarm details and it is mentioning my each and everything. So what we have done right now in this hands-on session right here is we have created the alarm. Okay, once we have created the alarm, so like we have stopped and started the instances and we were logging it. I mean, if the number of stopped instances become more than one, then we'll have to trigger an email with the help of SNS notification. And we were able to do it in an hands-on manner. So we have created a cloud trial and we have created an S3 bucket to store the logs. And we have created the CloudWatch log groups and metric filters for the stopped EC2 instances. We have created the SNS topic to receive the alert from the CloudWatch. Okay, now once we have done all these things, we have launched the EC2 instances. We have stopped the instances few times to check whether the alarm is working or not. And at the end, we got an email from AWS confirming that the alarm has been triggered. So this completes the overall hands-on learning on this activity, that is how we can access the AWS control alerts with CloudWatch and Cloud Trial. So this is the activity that we have completed right now. Now moving on, the next hands-on activity is on how we can automate this EBS snapshot creation. So EBS, as you know, it's also called as Elastic Block Storage. Now this hands-on activity is about the automating this EBS snapshot creation. Now, when I say snapshot, okay, it's about capturing the current data. So as part of a learning journey, we are going to create an EC2 instance, we'll create an IAM role, and we'll create some Lambda function, we'll create an SNS topic, and we are going to create a rule in this CloudWatch, okay? So these are the activities that I'll be doing right now. Let's go ahead and do that activity, guys. So for that, let's start our AWS account. I think it's already loaded for me. Let's get started. I'm now in my AWS homepage. Now I'll just get started by creating an EC2 instance. I'll start my EC2. Once I log into my EC2, I'll go ahead and I'll launch the instances. So in the backend, I have already removed the previous instances, guys. So I'll use my old experience. And here, I'm going to select my server as Linux to AMI. Now, in the next screen, I'm going to select my instance type as t2.micro. Next, I'll go ahead and I'll configure my instance details. And I'll go ahead and I'll launch the storage. Now here, I'll keep the default values for the storage and I'll click on add tags. and let's go ahead and add the name, and I'll say EC2 server. Okay, this is the tag that I'm going to add. Next, we can go ahead and create a new tab. So I'll say EC2 server, and here for the SSH rule, so I'll specify the source as anywhere. Review on launch, I would download a new one. So EC2 key, and I'll download my key pair. And once this is done, we'll go ahead and launch the instances. So once the EC2 has been launched, let's wait for it to change to running. Okay, so this is the EC2 instance that we have created. So let's wait for it to get started. Now in parallel, I'll go ahead and I'll launch my IAM service. So IAM is nothing but the identity and access management. And we are going to go ahead and we'll create a new role for this Lambda. So here on the left hand side, I'll create a role. I'll select my roles and I'll create a role. Now here for the selected type of trusted entities, I'm going to select my AWS service. Okay. Now here for the common use case, we already have the option of Lambda. So I'll select this Lambda as a use case. Okay. Next, I'll click on the next button. Here we'll have to add the permission. Okay. Now for the filter policies, we can see the list of policies. Now I'm going to search by saying as my snapshot policy. So this is a policy that has been already created. Okay. I'm going to select this my snapshot policy. Okay. I'll after this, okay, I'll click on my next button, which is the uh, screen over here. Here I'll have to mention my name, that is my role. So I'll say snapshot test. Okay, it has given some description over here already. Now I'll just come down. We've got the trusted entities. What are all those trusted entities? We have the add permissions over here. We can add the tags if required. I'm going to add a tag of name. I would say snapshot test, and I'll create a role. Okay, so once I do that, here I've got a confirmation that says snapshot hyphen test has been created. So if I search over here, see snapshot hyphen test. So this service role has been created. Now, once this has been created, okay, we'll now go ahead and we'll create a Lambda function. In order to create a Lambda function, I'll say Lambda, okay. In the parallel, I'll also note down this. This is the role that we have created. Okay, so this is the Lambda function. Now here in this scenario, I'm going to create a function. Now for creation of function, we've got various options. We can author this function from scratch, or we can use the blueprint. So I'll choose the author from scratch. And for the function name, I'm going to say lambda EBS. Okay. And for the runtime, I'll select the runtime of Python 3.9. And for architecture, I'll keep the default as it is. And here under the permission, so I can go ahead and I can create a new role, or I can use an existing role. So I'll choose an existing role, and the role is the snapshot test, which we have created earlier. So I'll select that a role, IAM role. Next, I'll go ahead and I'll create this Lambda function. This is going to create a Lambda function. And here it says we've got add trigger, Lambda EBS, and we'll also have to add the destination.